Here we have yet another of those videos that I should have recorded some time ago, but that well, the backlog is ever growing. So here we are. And this video is a bit different from many of the other videos that I have made recently because, well, first thing, I mean, it's not folders, it's actually fixed blades. And fixed blades used to be my field of expertise, and I guess it still is in some sense. It's just that I'm getting more and more into folders, but there will be many more fixed blade videos in the future as well. Another reason why this video is a bit special is because, well, the fixed blades in question, they are daggers, and I rarely make videos about daggers. I've done one or two, or well, maybe actually a couple, but not very many. And the third reason why this video is a bit special is because it's a totally new brand to me. This is Heretic knives, and the coins here, well, this is also a bit special because these are the first actual challenge coins I get my hands on, and they are of course also made by Heretic knives. All of them made in the US, or the knives at least. I would reckon that the coins are perhaps made in the US as well, since, well, Heretic Knives is an American company. I don't know a whole lot about Heretic Knives. I know they were founded in 2015. I know they specialize sort of on OTFs and folders, but they also make a couple of fixed blade models like the Nephilim seen in this specific video. So let's start by taking a look at the knives here. We have two versions. DLT Trading is where I got them, and they had 3 versions in stock. But sadly, one of them sold out pretty fast, and I only managed to snag these 2, but that is still more than enough. As you can see, these are in some green G10 material for the handle. This is just regular green G10, some dark version perhaps. And we have this one that is also green and black, has an even darker olive, darker finish of sorts. But I know that there are versions of this blade with carbon fiber scales and perhaps some other different materials as well. But these are the 2 versions that will be featured in this video review. So let's see here. Let's just talk about one of them. As you can see here, this is not a Kydex sheath. This is a Holstex sheath made in-house by Heretic. It looks kind of like a green carbon fiber style, but it is not carbon fiber. And the belt attachment here, or the lock mechanism here, is a large tech lock. And if you're not familiar with how it works, it can be a bit, if you see it first time, you might feel like, how do I work this one? And you have this little snap thing here that you have to unsnap. Then you press on the sides here to actually, let's see, maybe I should actually work with my right hand, like this. So you open it up, you put it on your belt or on your rucksack or on your backpack or wherever you want to attach it, and then you just put it down there, and then you secure the snap, and it will be tightly secured. I think that the take locks is a good locking mechanism. It is functional, and it just plain works. Hole stacks as a material, I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, but I don't think I have anything in particular to say about it, at least not in terms of criticism or anything like that. But I will mention that there is quite a bit of rattling, and this was mentioned in some other video I remember seeing some time ago. So there is a bit of rattling, and I mean, rattling in itself is not it's not a major concern perhaps, as long as the knife is secured in the sheath. But rattling might have a negative effect on the edge, and it might scratch the blade. So that is something to be aware of. I'm not saying it's happening with this one or that it will happen, but I'm just saying that it could perhaps happen. But what is important, rattling or not, is that the knife is securely attached to the sheath, that there's some good retention. And I will say that the retention here, it may sound really solid when it goes in, but the retention could be better. I have to say that. I mean, I can actually shake the knife out of the sheath here, and that is perhaps not a super good thing, especially if you're gonna carry it like this and you accidentally oh, okay, so it won't go out every time, but I have managed without too much effort to shake it out of the sheath. I'm not going to do it on the camera, but it can happen. So now we have gotten that aspect out of it here, and I know that Heretic is aware of this issue of sorts here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they perhaps outsource the sheath production on some other company, or if they go full Kydex, or if they just fix it in some way or sense. But that is something that I should definitely mention. I feel like it has to be said, even though it might not be the nicest thing to start a review with. But there it is. After that, we're gonna focus on only good things pretty much, because I only have good things to say about this blade. My only negative criticism of sorts is about the hole stacks sheath, and not the fact that it is hole stacks, not the fact that it has a take lock, which I like, but about the actual retention. The rattling, I don't care too much about it, but retention is important. Really, it is. So let's unsheath the knives here, shall we? I should probably mention that as you can see, I'm not doing an unboxing video. I do have the boxes saved and everything, but I put them away, and I don't think there were any special items or anything in the box. I don't think there were any stickers or any special information. I could be wrong. I might misremember, but the unboxing part is not a major. It's not a major feature in my videos, so that is not just super important, and I'd rather just make the video itself. So before we start talking about details here, I think I'm gonna zoom in a bit on the camera so we can better see what we are looking and talking about. So now we are slightly more zoomed in, which is a good thing, because there is a lot of nice little details going on here. As you can see, this one has green G10 handles and a battle-worn finish. To me, I would, might as well call it a stonewash finish, but battle-worn is what Heretic has named it. A nice dagger style, very symmetrical, even grinds, which is of course a great and important thing when making a dagger. We have this sort of fuller in the middle here with some holes drilled in it. Let's take a closer look at that. So the fuller part here and the holes kind of reminds me of the Microtech SBD Borka dagger, but that dagger has a very different design altogether compared to this one. But this, this fuller with the drilled holes is just a bit reminiscent of the Borka dagger, I would say. The blade here is made in Elmax, should be visible perhaps somewhere here. And we also have the Nephilim serial number 370, made in the USA. Let's see. Perhaps visible, perhaps not. I think that before we go into the full specs and details, we might as well take a look at the other blade here as well, which in my opinion is a slightly, you know, more stylish looking version of this this dagger. So this has a two-tone finish, a black coating and a satin coating here. It's actually quite nice, especially with the black and green handle and the black pins. Here we have the battle-worn stonewash grey pins of the knife. So let's take a closer look here as well. Very even grinds on this one as well. This one is in Elmax 2. And yeah, of course it is a full tang construction. I like this one the most out of the two, but I think with actual use, the stonewash battle-worn finish might be the better option, because I'm not sure how strong or tough this black coating is. That we might find out in the future of sorts. So now we can actually take a closer look here at the specs of the knife here. So I already said that the blade steel used for this one is Elmax, which is a... should I zoom out a bit perhaps now? Might be better. So Elmax steel. Elmax is a highly corrosion resistant steel with pretty great edge holding capabilities. It may not be the absolute toughest or strongest steel, but it is definitely not a weak steel by any means. I mean, one of my favorite knives, the TRC Apocalypse, and some other knives made by TRC are made in Elmax, and they are quite capable and actually quite strong knives. So I mean, as long as you know, make a good heat treat and know how to work with the steel, Elmax can be pretty amazing. And it takes a really nice edge as well, that I've got to say. So looking at this knife here, we have an overall length of 12 inches with a blade length of 6.5 inches and a blade thickness, which might be difficult, you know, to see since this is a dagger design. So you don't see the full thickness on the blade anywhere. I mean, it is, yeah, it is a dagger, so obviously you won't see it, but you will see it on the tang here, since it is a full tang construction. So the blade thickness is 0.2 or 0.200 inches, so it is quite a thick, stout, sturdy knife from a thickness perspective, that I've got to say. The weight of this knife is, well, I'm actually not quite sure. I should have brought my should probably have brought my kitchen scales here and put it on it. I am kind of curious about the weight, so I think I'm gonna go and fetch it. Actually, give me a second perhaps. I decided to go and grab a scale here because I am indeed curious about the weight of this knife. So it is 252 grams, and that equals to 8.85 or 8.90 ounces. Let's see if we have the same weight on both of these. 885 to 895. Yeah, they are identical in weight. So now we have the numbers pinned, and we have the material specified as well, and the overall design. Yeah, we did speak a bit about it. This is quite a long, semi-thin and quite stabby dagger, which it of course should be since it is a dagger. So this knife is kind of a niche knife. I mean, this is not something you will bring out on your first, scout camp or, day trip, hiking, camping, etc. I mean, you could bring it, but it's not gonna be, your best, bushcraft knife or kitchen friend or anything like that. It will probably make for a good pig sticker if you run into a wild boar or two, but I mean, that is not something I would plan for like that. So I mean, it is a bit of a specialized knife. I don't see myself putting this one to a lot of use in any way, but I do have a thing for daggers. I've gotten more and more into daggers lately, but it's not something I will heavily invest in, to be fully honest. But they do make for nice knives, definitely. In terms of ergos, etc., I wear size 10 gloves, semi-large hands, semi-thick fingers. Placing this knife here, well, I could have placed perhaps 1.5 fingers more, so you do have a lot of area to hold this knife in. The guard here, let's see, is a bit different, or it's like what should I say, like an integral part of sorts. But it does, it is useful. I don't see myself, if I stab into something, I don't see myself, going over the guarded area and slicing my fingers up in any way. And it is also a quite comfortable knife. It may not look, super comfortable. Some people might not think it looks comfortable, but it actually is quite nice in hand. Some people might wear gloves when using knives. I do sometimes. But with this one I don't feel the need to do it. But for those wearing gloves, it will work just fine in gloves as well. There is a bit of jimping going on here, starting right here under the guard here, and then it goes for the full length here. And that is probably meant to give you a bit of a extra, grip of sorts, so you won't, the knife won't leave your hand or drip out or anything like that. But I'm not sure how, how much of a difference the jimping makes here. It is not overly aggressive. It is kind of, it just makes for a nice texture of sorts, to be completely honest. But it is it's a nice touch, It feels pretty good. It looks kind of nice, but from a practicality or functionality aspect, I'm not sure how much of a difference it actually makes. But it's there. And then you have this lanyard hole of sorts, extended lanyard. You can probably use it as a glass breaker of sorts, etc. But it's not very, not very pointy and not very sharp. But yeah, I mean, you could use it as something like that, or maybe use it as a skull crusher. Not really. But it is what it is. And if you don't like it at all, maybe you could even remove it by grinding it down. But it's not it's not in the way, and it's not uncomfortable or anything. So I mean, it's there pretty much. And this one is, like I said, this one is identical in most aspects. It's just a bit of a different material. You have the black pins instead. You have the black coating here. I'm not sure what type of coating is used on this one, or how durable it actually is. But it is a nice looking knife, no doubt about it. Very, very stylish. So now we have gone over the specs, we have taken a close look at the knives. Maybe we should actually try the sharpness of these two. Could make for an interesting test, right? So let's go with some printing paper and some magazine paper, and maybe some more. I don't have a whole lot of hair to shave, and I don't have a whole lot of other types of paper, maybe some newspaper perhaps. But let's start with printing paper and magazine paper. We can try both of the knives and both sides of the edge as well. is picking up a bit here right now. Shouldn't be. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of an issue perhaps. I'm gonna zoom out as well. There we go. So let's see if it's sharp. And I mean, with a knife like this, with a dagger, I do expect it to be quite sharp. You know, you don't need the absolute strongest or toughest edge, etc. You're not going to batoon with this knife because that would be, well, first of all, it would be plain stupid to batoon with a double-edged knife. But I mean, it's not, you know, it's not in the design at all. This knife is supposed to, well, have a sharp, semi-strong tip, you know, for piercing performances, but also a very sharp edge as well. So I would be quite let down if this knife didn't slice the paper fairly, you know, effortless. But we'll just have to see here now. So that's one side of the edge. I'm trying to get as much edge as possible here when I'm slicing. So it does seem that this knife is in fact quite sharp. I am very satisfied with the results of both sides of this edge. So let's go with the two-tone version as well. I'll switch sides. So I'm going to take a new piece of paper here for the, let's see. So I mean, the knife is sharp. I thought I could feel a bit of a difference between one of the sides here, but even so, it is definitely, you know, definitely sharp enough regardless. So let's try some magazine paper next, I think. I'm gonna have to collect this later on. Like I said, the wind is picking up ever so slightly, so it is a bit what it is. So here we have our typical magazine paper of sorts. Just a random page, perhaps. Then we can start with the battle-worn finish here. Switching sides. So this one is very sharp, and it has a very even sharpness on both sides. I like that type of, or sort of, consistency when both the edges you know, have sort of the same sharpness to it. Let's go with the two-tone finish version here as well. This is the one where I could feel a slight difference between the two edges, but we'll see how noticeable it is when slicing this type of magazine paper now. So it's actually not as noticeable, but it's still, you know, well, most people, I reckon, well, pretty much, yeah, 99% of all the people, or 95%, won't be able to tell the difference in sharpness from one edge and the other. But I feel like there is a, you know, ever so slight difference in sharpness. But as you can see, you can easily, you know, do some wavy patterns, etc., and it just slices through. So I will say that in terms of sharpness, these two knives are both very sharp. I have zero complaints in terms of sharpness. they easily pass my sharpness test here. And if only I had some, you know, hair left on my arms or legs, we could have done some some shaving as well. But it's, you know, it's not. I'm gonna see if I can fix something here. Let's see. This is gonna be quite hard. I have no idea what's visible here, but I mean, I do have a little bit of hair going on here. Yeah, let's take a look at this. Is this a thin layer of skin I just removed? Yeah, I just removed a super thin layer of skin as well. So that's, well, it is what it is. Let's see, do we see? Oh man, well, the hair blew off in the wind, but we did shave some hair off my leg. Or of my knee, I would say. We also shaved a really thin piece of skin, so that is, well, a bonus. I don't know really. And I will say that, you know, if I could use my, let's see if we can put up my other leg here as well. Do we have anything visible here? Yeah, let's see what we can do. I don't have a whole lot of hair, but the little hair I have is popping off now, so yeah, it's very hard to actually see something here. I don't think it's visible, but it will shave hair, and it will obviously also shave very nice thin slices of skin. If you are not careful enough. So that is the oh, I think I accidentally pushed the camera a bit. So this is the Nephilim Heretic Knives Nephilim Dagger. A really nice dagger design, great sharpness, both sides of the edges, great steel as well, great ergos in my opinion. Overall a really nice knife, and it is, I think this is probably my favorite dagger. If I were to, you know, pick a dagger and head out somewhere where I need a dagger, this is the dagger I would go with. But on the downside here, we have the two Holstex sheath. These ones are they could definitely need some improvement, I'm not gonna lie. But is it a deal breaker? Well, for me it is not really a deal breaker, but I would definitely like to see improvements made here. I'm not gonna lie. So that is probably it for the dagger part of the review, and now we can actually go with the challenge coin, which is next up. I realize now that the knives are actually not, this knife is not even visible in the camera, but we have seen it enough, right? So take one final good look here, and then we go and check out the challenge coins, right? Okay, so it's time to talk a little bit about the challenge coins here from Heretic Knives. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about these coins because, well, I mean, they are just mere challenge coins of sorts. Even though they are quite nice, they are not, you know, the most functional or practical, you know, everyday carry item. But they are, you know, highly appreciated by certain folks, and I can definitely see some charm to it. I mean, I do own 3 of them, so I must have picked them up for a reason. I actually started by picking just this one up, the satin version here, and I felt like, you know, this is a pretty nice coin. I can actually see myself carrying it with me for, well, I don't know, good luck, or just, you know, flipping it around, etc. But I felt like maybe I want, you know, a spare one as a you know, sort of a safe queen coin. So I picked up the very same version as well, and then I also ordered this third one, which was in another type of finish, a battle-worn finish. But this one looks very different now because I did modify it quite heavily. There was also a total black version of this coin, but I never picked that one up. I feel like now maybe I should have picked that one up so I could have one of each, and I think it might be sold out. I'm not quite sure. These coins were like 30 bucks each, and well, I mean, it's not super cheap, but it's not super expensive. There are challenge coins that are a lot more expensive than that, but also in other materials to begin with, of course. So let's pick these ones out of their small boxes of sorts here. I did smash one of these by mistake, not this one. Perhaps it was this one that I smashed a bit. Could be, yeah, this is the one I smashed, but you know, epoxy is some great stuff, so I mean, it's easy to fix. Not that it is, you know, like the end of the world. So now we have them all unboxed of sorts here. So I kind of, you know, consider this one to be the original version of sorts, like, you know, the satin version here. So on the shove side, I'm gonna call this one the shove side, we have this beast-like creature and the text Paria up here. If we flip it, yeah, so we have the flip side here, we have the logo or the emblem for Heretic knives, as well as the text Heretic knives on each side here, circle around the coin. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I picked this coin up before because I thought it was, you know, stylish looking, maybe perhaps even a bit cool looking, that it could make for a nice, you know, photo prop in some way, or, you know, just a nice coin to carry with you and to sit and, you know, just, you know, flip around with. So that is, you know, that is the main reason why I got this this coin. Maybe it can turn into a good luck coin as well. But it is, you know, I think it is a nice, definitely a nice coin with some nice details and finish to it. It is also quite heavy. I think it's like 40 grams or something like that. What is that? 1.6 ounces perhaps? Can that be correct? Yeah, I don't know. But it is definitely some weight to it. So the satin version is what you see here right now. Maybe I should have turned the logo the right way. Then I went with the battle-worn version, but when it came to me, it was, you know, it was really dark, like completely dark. So I decided to take some autosol, which is like flits, for example, and then I polished it a bit, removed some of the black coating as well, making the bronze coating underneath show up. And then I did some work with some steel wool, and I got some silver finish as well. So this one is actually quite different. I'm gonna have to change the camera a bit. Give me a second. Here we get a slightly better look here at the finish here. You can see the black here on the outskirts of the coin here. You can see the black in between the claws, etc., and the mouth. But you also see the bronze parts and also the silver parts here. So it is it got a bit of a unique look to it now. And if you flip the coin, yeah, you can see here there is some black and some bronze and some silver on the sides of the coin. And then on the flip side here with the logo, you can see a lot of bronze going on here, some silver, but also the black here on the around the coin here and on certain parts. So it does have, you know, a very worn look to it. now. So I feel like I did make this coin slightly more, you know, unique compared to what it looked like originally. When it was originally, you couldn't see any bronze or any silver or anything. It was just, you know, different shades of black, kinda. So I really do like how it turned out. That I want to say. But now that we have it like this, we can also take a look here at the satin version. Like this, we can make a bit more of a close-up here. To better see like the details, the contours, the engraving. Yeah, just, you know, like the overall look here of the coin. Maybe we can even compare the two coins side by side here. So there is a bit of a difference here, right? We can go with the flip side as well. Like this. Well, anyway, I mean, it's going to be personal preferences, of course, if you want a all black coin, or if you want a more satin finish, or yeah, matte gray or satin. It's a bit of a mix. Or if you want to go with a battle worn, or if you want to, you know, tweak it in whatever manner you prefer yourself. So that is probably it about the coins. I like them. I wouldn't mind to see more of them made. Maybe I should get that black coin as well. So Heretic challenge coins, Heretic, Nephilim, Dagger, and the sheath. We're gonna skip them now. This is the good stuff. So I guess that concludes this this overview of the 2 Nephilims and the 3 challenge coins. We'll see when my next Heretic video is made. I'm not, you know, very much into OTFs, nor am I into, you know, assisted folders or automatic folders as well. But maybe they come up with some more fixed blade designs. I would definitely check them out, no doubt about it. Do I recommend these knives? Yeah, I think that, you know, the actual knives are really great. I mean, the fit and finish is more or less, you know, it is impeccable. The ergos, they are great as well. The factory edge, really sharp, and great steel. I mean, there's, you know, not a whole lot to dislike here. It's my only concern is about the sheath. But I will say that, you know, since I'm gonna, you know, carry these knives, I will never carry them, you know, upside down like this, or not even scout carry them either. So as long as you actually carry them like this, you will not have, you know, much issues. And you could probably perhaps modify these sheaths to have, you know, slightly better edge retention. Maybe you can, you know, attach some moleskin or something here to make it, you know, slightly, you know, tighter of sorts. So I'm gonna look into that, maybe make a follow-up video of sorts. But for now, this is it. Thank you for watching.